This is Herb Grosinger again in part 4 of the Coolidge Teapot Dome scandal of the 1920s. When I left off, it's cut off by YouTube time, I was talking about the 1920 elections, and the elections were won by Harding and Coolidge over Davis and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who at the time had just come off of Secretary of the Navy. Coolidge won the Harding won the elections, and the country was tired of the effects of World War I. There was a big movement in the Republican Party that controlled Congress. They wanted to have no involvement in any foreign wars again, and wanted to become isolationists. The senator from Massachusetts, Henry Cabot Lodge, was a big force in trying to isolate this country from any foreign involvements. He was instrumental in scuttling the Wilson's move to bring the United States government into the League of Nations, which would have put us into a position to be able to talk to many of these countries. However, the country was becoming more conservative. In the elections of 1920, you had a feeling. Harding had said that that immigration should be only for Anglo-Saxons. We didn't want any other types of people coming into this country. You had, in 1921, you had the Immigration Restrictive Act, which they wanted to cut back on the immigration of Eastern European Jews, Catholic Italians, particularly Jews, and also Henry Ford had published a paper that was being circulated in Europe called the Elders of Zion, which was a propaganda piece of anti-Semitism. So you had a great deal of conservative movement and non-involvement. But at the same time, this Teapot Dome scandal was heating up. And finally, when the new Secretary of the Interior, Albert Fall, took control, he had gotten a payoff from Sinclair. Sinclair gave him a $100,000 loan, not to be repaid, for his ranch. And a fellow by the name of Doheny was also a big oil man who got part of the Teapot Dome section of California. And as a result, you had this tremendous amount of oil reserves that were transferred to Sinclair. And the scandal broke when one of the wildcat drillers in that area suddenly was displaced by the Harding administration, and he took his case to a new upstart paper called the Denver Post, which is now in existence today. And they published editorials and spread the editorials throughout the country and sent copies to Congress. And eventually a special investigation was done, and a fellow by the name of a senator from Montana by the name of Tom Walsh took up the investigation. And in that investigation, they showed where Sinclair had paid off the Republican debt of over $2 million as part of the deal, and Sinclair had also spread his money throughout the Republican administration, and Harding was almost like a figurehead for business. And once the Coolidge became president after Harding's death, things remained about the same. The country was run basis of leave everything alone, let business take care of business. In fact, that was